Hello, this is Arlene, host of the Ask Arlene Show. It's a pleasure to join you again. I'm here reminding you that you can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do. You can be who you want to be in the world. And I have 5 quick secrets today to share with you about how you can truly win at the game of life. And we're going to be talking about them now after this message.
Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our Mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
Hi, welcome back. So we're talking about how you can win a game of life. And the show's concept is overcoming fear, getting unstuck, and living your best life. Okay, so today specifically, these 5 topics that we're talking about, or 5 secrets that we're talking about, have to do with this concept of networking. Yes, you've gotten it, networking. So everybody talks about how, oh, in order to win at the game of life, you got to come up with a whole lot of money or a whole lot of funds, or you have to have the highest in degrees, and you need to do all of these wonderful things in order to win. But I'm here to tell you that anybody can win at the game of life if they have these 5 secrets. So I'm looking at some of the people that we consider to be very successful. And I'm going to start out with one of the wealthiest gentlemen in our entire country. So many of the people use Bill Gates. Okay, he's number 1 of the people that we're talking about. And they say that Bill Gates is so wealthy. His company, Microsoft, did over, what is it, 198 billion with a B dollars, and their cap rate is in the trillions. Okay, so many people think of him as very successful. So that's why I'm talking about him today. But did you guys know that Bill Gates does not attribute his success just to his intellect? Okay, so yes, he was very smart and he was able to develop this OS2 piece of software, okay, that IBM was able to use. But it's not just the fact that he was brilliant in developing this software. And then other people say, well, he dropped out of college, so he spent much of his time working and developing his craft as opposed to spending it in school. So the reason why he was so successful is because he dropped out of school. So we can all drop out of school. We don't need it. That's not it either, guys. I've done a little bit of homework and I've been looking at this concept of networking. And as you know, I've written a book called The 10 Secrets to Networking. And I've been doing a television show and a radio show for years about this concept of networking. So do you know one of the real reasons, the secret reasons as to how it all got started with Bill Gates is actually this concept of networking. Okay, so I want all of the mothers that are listening to this to lean in. If you're a mommy, Okay, or you're a daddy, lean in to the television set, or if you're watching this on YouTube, lean into the computer. Because the secret, guys, is that Bill Gates actually got into IBM as a result of a networking concept. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's classic. It's classic 101. So his mother, I'm going to tell you the story, was actually a part of this organization called United Way. And many of you who are involved in business and are involved in donating your time, you've all heard of United Way and you've all contributed to United Way. Well, actually, I was one of the quasi board members as well of United Way in another city. So Bill Gates' mother was actually on the board of directors for United Way in their particular area. And guess who else was also a board member for United Way while his mother was on the board of United Way? Drum roll. Opal, who was the gentleman who happened to be head of IBM. So, as the story goes, there were several other companies that were vying, or several other people that were vying to get in to this IBM concept so that they could market their particular wares and be able to be used. But how did Bill Gates get to the top of the list as opposed to all these other well-qualified companies and brilliant people who also went to Harvard and maybe they had degrees and had innovative concepts? Well, they were in a board meeting and his mommy, of course, knew the head person at IBM, Opal, and they began to talk. So she advocated for her son and she asked him, because he was already on the list, but he was just a regular person on the list, asked him if he would select her son, and actually if he would talk to his other members, his other leaders at IBM and select Bill Gates. So guys, he did. The story goes that Oprah went back because of course he was going to work with his friend. This is the person who he had been networking with and working with on the board for all of this time. So he went back to IBM and started talking with the leaders and talking up this guy by the name of Bill Gates. And then guess what? Cha-ching ching. Bill Gates just happened to be selected. Networking, guys. So IBM at the time had only been around for about 5 years, okay? And his business was worth maybe about 140,000 versus IBM, which was 96 billion with a B at the time. So this open door created an awesome opportunity for this gentleman. But without his mommy, okay, that open door may never have happened because he might have just been in the pack and he may never have been selected. So why do I say mommies lean in and daddies lean in? Because that means you can advocate for your children as well. Maybe they can grow up to be a Mr. Bill Gates and run the world in terms of their financial portfolio. Okay, so now he's left his company, IBM, Microsoft, and now he works on his foundation, and his foundation is so successful and they're doing so well that he doesn't even deal anymore with the daily happenings of Microsoft. So what's the message for us? The message for us is we need to expand our network. We need to join organizations. We need to volunteer for different projects so that we can begin to expand our network. So many people say, well, I spend time with the people I know, like, and trust. All right. But there's a proverb, a very wise proverb, and it says the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. Okay, so how are the righteous ever going to get the wealth unless they actually begin to engage, unless they actually begin to go out and talk with and network with those people who, quote unquote, are the ones of the world that are doing great things financially? All right, so the secret today is we must begin to network. And we don't just begin to network with the people that we know, like, and trust. We have to go outside of our comfort zone. We have to begin to network with the people that we wouldn't normally network with, okay? So that we can learn a concept that we don't already have, or be introduced to a portfolio or a platform or types of things, dreams and goals and visions and ways of doing things that we haven't always been utilizing in the past. All right, so that is a key secret when it comes to networking. So guys, the first person that we talked about was Bill Gates, and that was just, it was shocking, but it also is right in line with what I've been saying all along in terms of how we move forward and how we win at the game of life. It's all about networking. So is it about your pedigree? No, you can truly go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do, be whoever you ever you'd like to be. But the idea is we've got to get connected with the right people, get around the right things. And I am doing a mastermind group. We do a mastermind group every Thursday after we record the show. And in that, we're helping other business owners to develop themselves and to grow. And they get not only my wisdom, but they get the wisdom of the mastermind. So when you're in a mastermind, you have not just your mind and the other person, but you create a third mind, guys, because you have the wisdom of yourself and the other person, or in our case, the other people. We have several hundred people that are part of the mastermind group. And I'd love for you to join us and be a part as well. So I want you to watch this 20-second clip. And then when I come back, I'm going to tell you about another great person who used networking to move forward.
I've decided that I'm a good person and that I deserve good things to happen to me. And therefore, I've decided that I'm going to pamper myself as much as possible. I'm going to look for as much fun. I'm going to look for as much fulfillment. I'm going to look for as much ease. I'm going to follow my ease. I'm going to follow my bliss. I'm going to follow my flow. I'm going to follow the good feeling. I'm going to let the...
Hi. So the first one was you're going to utilize your family. Nobody's off limits. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, anybody and everybody can be a part of your network, okay? Because you never know who they might meet. You never know who they might interact with. So you're going to put them on the job and say, listen, I'm starting this business. I'd love to expand my business. I'd love to know who you know that I can network with to help me to move forward. Okay, and then I want to talk about this lovely lady by the name of Oprah Winfrey. Yes, she has done great things. Oh, but before I move on about the whole networking thing with your family, remember too that you want to join organizations. That was the secret with the Bill Gates situation. Secret number one was joining organizations, okay? Because his mom was on the board of United Way. It's a voluntary thing. You don't get paid to be a part of United Way. Usually you volunteer your time, you volunteer your efforts and your energy, but then it comes back to you. Look at how it came back to him tenfold, all right? And also, I told you the story last time about a business owner that we work with who's a part of our mastermind group out of Germany, and she was sharing how she helped someone just voluntarily. She didn't do something that she was supposed to do for her business that day, and she spent the time with this woman. The woman turned out to be a client of hers, paying her significant dollars and cents. Okay, Oprah Winfrey. So we're talking about networking. We say, oh, well, Oprah's so wonderful because of her talent. Yes, she's got a great talent. But what is it that was so different and so distinct about this woman that helped to propel her forward, even to come up with this concept that she would not just have a show, but she wanted to own her own show and be responsible for her own purse. So she wasn't the first one. Like there is her competitor at the time was a gentleman. Many of you may remember him from way back. He was actually at the top of his game. Okay. And then this woman was also just a competitor. She had a show. He had a show. So the story goes that she said she wanted to work on The Color Purple and wanted to take time off from the show to work on The Color Purple, and that the studio execs, the people who ran the show, told her no, she couldn't take that much time when she wanted to take it. So she had to adjust herself, and she decided that she was going to have her own show, okay, and run her own show and take on part of the financial responsibility of the show and get profit sharing instead of getting paid for the show. Okay, but how did she have these big dreams? How did she have these big concepts? One of the secrets, guys, was her network. So Oprah Winfrey went to college, like many of us went to college, but do we keep in contact with those that we went to college with? If you're a student and you're in college, the number one reason why you're at that college or that university, you think it's to get an education, don't you? You think it was so that you could get that degree or you could learn how to be a doctor. But the secret is, unless you're the secret is the reason why you go to those places, in addition to learning the concepts, if you're a professional, like a doctor or a lawyer, but if you're learning business administration or you're doing social service or government and politics like I did, the secret is you're there because of your network. So why do you spend $50,000 a semester at a Spelman University or Spelman College, as opposed to going to a Bronx community college where you could spend $12,000 a semester or nothing at all? The network. The idea is that when you go to that Harvard or you go to that Spelman or you go to that Howard, you're going to have a huge network of people that are going to help to propel you forward, which may or may not be different from the network that you're going to get at the alternate college. Now, does it mean that you can't win if you go to an alternate college or a less expensive college? No, but that's the concept. That's what we're paying for when we go to a Harvard or a Yale or a Fordham like I did and spend all those funds. The idea is that you're going to have a network that you wouldn't have at the other university. So person number 2, guess who Oprah Winfrey's roommate was in college? Only one of the ladies from one of the wealthiest and most successful families in our country ever. Her roommate was Maria Shriver. And guess what she did on breaks? She went to Kennebunkport to the family home of the Kennedys for breaks, which is in Martha's Vineyard. So many of you know that the intelligentsia or the talented 10th take vacations in Martha's Vineyard for the summer. If you haven't gone, you need to go. It's a great place to go. But we don't have much time for me to talk about my Martha's Vineyard expeditions, but it's a great place. So that's what she would do. She was spending her time with the Kennedys, networking with the Kennedys and all of their friends. So when she ran into problems, and she did get fired. And by the way, Bill Gates also got kicked out of the connection that he had with IBM. They didn't really want him. She got fired from her job, and they both came back, which is also one of the secrets that I've talked about in the past, being resilient. Just because you get knocked down doesn't mean that you get knocked out. It just means that you're set up for a comeback. So why is this so significant? Because she had already made connections with some of the wealthiest people in the entire world, okay? Some of the most successful people in the entire world. So when she made a phone call and said, I'd like for Maria Shriver to come on my show, who is a Kennedy, of course she was going to have a famous person to come on her show. And when other famous people see famous people come and participate with her, they're more likely to begin to come themselves. So her network that she started with, that foundation that she had, was also what helped to propel her forward. So is your network important? Yes. While you're sitting around and you haven't made it yet to that $1 billion status or that $1 trillion status, or just really truly gotten to the height of your career that you would anticipate getting to, be nice to the people around you. And network with the people around you, because you don't know where they may be in the future. Okay, that's going to be your network of people that you're building. So talk nicely to the people that are around you, because you never know where they're going to be. So that was secret number 2. Secret number 2 was your college network, your organizational network. Yes, and maintaining the relationships that you start with. Okay, so every time you move from one company to another and you're looking to move up, maintain relationships with the people that you left behind. Okay, so now you're working at AIG and you used to work at United Bank of Switzerland. Who are those people that you worked with? Okay, maintain those relationships, maintain those contacts, invite them out to lunch, invite them out to dinner, just call them up and see what they're doing, because later on down the line, those are the same people that you're going to use in order to move up in your career or in your business or in your venture. That's going to be part of your network. Let's say you write this amazing book now about your life story. Well, who are you going to call on to purchase the book? The people who are a part of your network. Okay, so if you don't remember those people that you worked with on the first job, that's not the ideal. Okay, go through your phone book and make calls to those people, even though you think, well, right now, I don't need them, they don't need me, but you never know. Okay, you want to maintain those relationships, and that's what this woman did, and that's one of the reasons why she is so successful. So I think we have a couple of minutes more, but Oprah Winfrey was number 2. Bill Gates was number 1. The third person that we want to talk about is the person who is at the head of his game in terms of coaching and in terms of personal development. That's Tony Robbins. I'm going to tell you his secret too when we come right back from this brief message.
Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I've realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
Hi there. So we're back. So the third person that I want to talk about really quickly, because our time is running out, is Tony Robbins. So his secret is that not only did he have a great network and a great connection, but he also started early. So part of your networking is that you start out early. You're never too young. You're never too old. You're never too fat. You're never too skinny. You're never too dark, too light, too whatever. Okay. Wherever you are right now, start, begin. So he was just a teenager and he decided that he wanted to be a world-class speaker and be a part of this whole personal development industry. So he connected with a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was a successful business owner himself in the personal development space. He independently made his money in business, and then he turned it around and became a speaker and a coach. Okay, so Tony Robbins, the story goes that he goes into their office as a young kid and he says he wants to work for them, but he really doesn't have the funds to really be a part. He doesn't look the part. He's not wearing his suit. He's not suited and booted, but they take him under their wing. This gentleman, Jim Rohn, and before you know it, they teach him what they know. And now he's one of the most successful personal development coaches. Now, yes, he's talented. Yes, he's great. But he had this foundation. He had this base. He had this hand holding by one of the greatest personal development coaches and one of the most successful business owners of our time. So did that help to propel him forward? Did he learn certain tools and techniques from this gentleman that helped to propel him forward and help to distinguish him from maybe some of the other personal development coaches? Yes. And if you don't know Jim Rohn, type his name into Google and start watching his materials. I guarantee you that you're going to feel differently and see things differently when you listen to him than you do maybe some other people. Okay. And he started out very impoverished and he went from soup to nuts. He went from nothing to something. And so these are the people that I listen to and that I have used in terms of developing my business and my coaching as well. So key secret, your network. That distinguished him from all the others because he had that personal one-on-one contact with this gentleman, and he was able to not only talk the talk based on something that he heard, but he could walk the walk based on his relationship with this gentleman. So Tony Robbins is another example of how networking was able to move him forward and propel him forward. And that network was a business network. So yes, we talk about the business network, but we also talk about the personal network when we're talking about Oprah Winfrey and who we sleep beside, because your roommate is the person who sleeps in the room with you, in the dorm room with you. And then also we talked about getting on boards and volunteering your time and being a part of nonprofit organizations and doing things where you don't necessarily see the financial remuneration right away, but you're doing something and you're pouring in so that eventually you will get out. Because remember, whatsoever a man sows, that's exactly what he's going to reap. So if you're giving out good things and you're helping others, then that helpful concept is going to come back to you. All right, so we only have a couple of minutes left. So who are the last two people? Oh, and I also love talking about these guys because he also was down and out. So it wasn't like it was a clear trajectory with Tony Robbins where he signed up with the organization and then he hit the jackpot. Actually, he had a lot of bumps and bruises and he kept falling down and people stole his money along the way. So just like Oprah got fired and Bill Gates got knocked out of IBM, he also fell down, but he followed this persistent concept and he got back up. And he also had his network. He had his body of successful people that he was surrounded by that kept him going. All right, so I love this guy. Love, love, love. If you love sports, here's a one for you. Michael Jordan. Everybody talks about how Michael Jordan got cut from the basketball team. Yes, he got cut from the basketball team. But did you know who his network was? Do you know who he networks with? Okay, actually, I talked about Michael Jordan, but I want to make a detour. I want to talk about Magic Johnson. Okay, so Magic Johnson, his network, he'll tell you in his story that while all the other basketball players were hanging out with each other basketball players, people who they like, know, and trust, he was hanging out with the billionaire owners, okay? He was hanging out with the people who could work him into a deal once he finished with basketball. So I don't know if you've looked around, but you've noticed that there are very many successful former basketball players. Magic Johnson who started out in, relatively meager beginnings, hit it big in basketball. But really what we know him for now is his business acumen. He started with one of the largest franchises of Starbucks. So all of you who love to drink those coffees, yeah, he brought Starbucks to the hood. He brought Starbucks to the communities, the urban communities. And so that was one of the reasons why he was so successful. He brought movie theaters and malls to some of the urban communities. So is it likely that Magic Johnson learned some of what he learned in terms of his business prowess by his network? Yes, he'll tell you he was hanging out with the guy who was the owner of not just the Clippers, but the guys who were the owners of the different basketball teams and owners of just world-class leaders. He tells a story. I heard him tell a story about a gentleman who had a yacht. His network, and they were all supposed to go on this yacht, Scottie Pippen and other people, but there was some problem with the air conditioning in the particular yacht. So they had to wait on shore for what he thought was the yacht to be repaired. It was a big, huge, beautiful boat. But he said, no, actually, they were waiting for his other yacht to arrive. So they got into the other yacht, his second yacht, so that they didn't have to wait for the first one to be repaired. And so it's a wonderful story, but it goes back to this concept of networking, okay? Who are you networking with? Are you networking with the people that you feel comfortable with, the people who are like you? Or are you networking with people who are achieving the goals that you would like to achieve? Are you sitting there watching the television programs that you like, that you enjoy, that make you feel comfortable and warm and fuzzy? Or are you watching the television shows that are expanding your concept, expanding your mindset, expanding you and taking you to another level? All right. So I want you to watch the Ask Arlene Show, because we're always endeavoring to give you facts and tools and techniques on how to move forward in your business or in your project or in your endeavor and grow. And in this last wrap up, I just want to share the last guy. The last guy is Bill Clinton. Okay. So, and we all know, before I move on, we all know that Magic Johnson got knocked out because of his sickness, but he came back just like those other people. So if you felt that your business was ailing or that you had been fired from a job, like myself, from a major position, this is an opportunity. This is a setup for you to move forward and be the person that you're truly meant to be. Live your best life, to overcome those fears, get unstuck and move forward. And the last person is Bill Clinton, our former president of the United States. So he always knew that he wanted to become the president, but he wasn't necessarily someone who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But he said in this last quick second, I'm going to have to cut this short, he wanted to meet JFK Jr. and he used JFK Jr. as his model, as his person who he wanted to network with. And he didn't spend a whole lot of time with him personally, but he studied him, he read about him, he listened to his concepts, and then he actually met him and he became president of the United States, just like his mentor, Bill, like his mentor, JFK Jr. So I just want to thank you for spending these 29 minutes with us. I would like to thank you for listening to the show. I would love for you to share this video with somebody that you think would be helpful to. I'd like for you to subscribe to the AskArleneShow.com and watch others of our videos, and also join our mastermind group so that you can be a part of our mastermind. Thank you so much.
Name some things I'll be without you, good. Stop the growth, I bet you think you could. Said you gon' leave me, man, I wish you would. Yeah, I'm different, so I'm misunderstood. So I'ma always be good. Said I'ma always